Hey, what's up, parental queens? Welcome to Baget, the home of family creativity. My name is Cedrica Baggett, and I help moms build unbreakable bonds with their teens through cooking. Now, let's move forward to today's show. And y'all already know I'm about to do my favorite part, which is motivational moment. You know, I got to keep y'all motivated throughout this process. So, let me tell you today's quote. Today's quote is always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, more beautiful than you imagine, and loved more than you know. So, girl, always believe that you are brave, you are beautiful, you are strong. You could do anything you put your mind to. But remember, whatever you put your mind to doing, whether it's conquering your goals or conquering your goals towards parenting and everything like that, make sure you put yourself in the right mindset and also implement what you want to do to get to that level. Okay, girl? So remember that. Always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, more beautiful than you imagine, and love more than you know. Okay? I like that one. So remember that, ladies, and I'm going to come back to it towards the end. And so before I move on, make sure if you're getting some value out of this already, which I know you are, make sure you like and share this because there's always another woman out there who needs to hear this as well. Okay, so let's move on to today's fun food fact, which is tea. I love me some tea. Okay, girl. Tea can do a lot for you. And I'm going to tell you a fun food fact about tea, which is, among other things, it contains antioxidants that repair cells and doing so, such things as fighting disease from your body, uh, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and other things. And it's not just green tea that's good for you. You could drink black, white, red tea also, which is new for me as well because I've never tried red tea. So that's something new I would have to try. And I also want to tell you guys about yogi tea. Okay, yogi tea is something that is very good. They have all different kinds that's for positive energy, your body, your mind, everything, and they have all different flavors. My favorite is peppermint, which is what I'm drinking right now. I love peppermint tea, and peppermint tea helps with unclogging your sinuses. It improves energy, and it also relieves menstrual cramps because we don't like no cramps. So peppermint tea is one of the key things to use for them cramps, girl. And it also improves sleep because as a mom, we're up all weeks of the hour trying to make sure our kids are good and they're ready for the next day. And so we have to make sure we get ourselves to relax, get in our moment to sleep well, drink you some nice tea. So you could be nice and rested for the next day, and also gives you some nice fresh too. Because you go to the dentist, they give you some peppermint this and peppermint that. So remember that tea is good for you. Drink it. It's good for you in the morning and at night, especially if you want to drink something for energy in the morning. Like me, I drink coffee, but coffee is not always good for you, right? So it's good to switch it up sometimes and use tea because it is more healthier and it helps with boosting your energy. Get ready for the day and then drink you some other type of tea to get you relaxed for the night. Okay, so remember that, guys, about some tea and get peppermint, girl, because peppermint tea is the bomb in the yogi style, right? And so let's move on to today's my favorite part of the show as well, which everything is my favorite part of the show. My guest for today, her name is Celeste. Celeste is a Reiki master, yoni steam practitioner, full spectrum doula, yoga teacher, and wellness coach. And she has a lot of information that I want to know too, y'all. So please help me welcome Celeste. Hold on, girl. Okay, I got you.
You hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I hear you.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. How you doing? Thanks for being here. So go ahead and just reintroduce yourself and tell us about you.
Yeah, my name is Celeste. I am a full spectrum doula, wellness coach, yoga instructor, Reiki practitioner, and I'm located in Denver, Colorado. But my work transcends Denver. I work with folks all over the United States, specifically women and people with wombs, and I support them in just really connecting back to their womb space on a mind, body, and spirit level to heal, to do healing for themselves and generational healing.
Awesome. So the name of your business is called Light as a Feather. What made you come up with that name?
Yeah, so Light as a Feather came about. Um, so I started my practice 4 or 5 years ago, and essentially, my goal or with healing is really to just lift off the burden of emotional baggage, physical baggage that women and people with wombs kind of carry within their wombs and their hearts, right? So if you think of our womb space, our pelvic floor, it's like a bowl, right? And so
Mhm.
sometimes, like through trauma and the foods that we eat, that I'm sure you talk a lot about on your podcast and show, um, yeah, foods that we eat, trauma, our relationship with ourselves and others, we kind of like fill up our bowls with a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so light as a feather, the goal is to like almost like remove and cleanse out our bowls, cleanse out our womb space, cleanse out our pelvic floor, and to really get back to the healing, the generational healing that we find in there, right? So yeah.
That's amazing how you use that with the womb, because I never thought about it like that, because our womb, not only do we birth children, but everything that we put on, it can affect our womb because it is our core of our body. So that is very interesting that you do that. And so I would also like to know about your holistic remedies.
Yeah. So the holistic remedies look like multiple things. Sometimes it's herbal blends. I make sitz baths and yoni steams. That those
Mhm,
are my main two products that I sell through Light as a Feather. Yoni steaming is a herbal tea blend, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. Is but instead of drinking it or steaming your face, which some people will do, you're steaming your vagina, and the heat from the steam kind of opens up the porous tissues of your vulva and your
mhm,
labia and soaks up all the healing remedies of the herbal blend. Then there's also sitz baths, which kind of do some of the same things. A lot of people know about sitz baths for postpartum healing uh,
mhm,
of the vagina and the perineum and things, but I also make sitz baths that are specifically for those who have experienced miscarriages or sexual trauma. And what
mhm,
that is you make a bath like you would take a bath, but it goes maybe only up to about your hip, and you place the herbal blend that I create for you inside the tub, and then you
mhm.
sit inside the tub, and that heals, and that will help to heal the yoni, the which is Sanskrit for vagina, and the
Yeah.
perineum. And usually I do womb consultations. So when
Mhm.
you book one of those, I make a blend specifically for you.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. And so those are some of the herbal remedies that I do. But I feel like another holistic remedy that I offer is through my coaching. I
Mhm,
offer prenatal and postpartum coaching.
mhm,
Um, so I work with women who are 35 weeks pregnant up into 2 years postpartum. And during that time, I support them wherever they are. So if they're still in their pregnancy, I support them with like preparing mentally, emotionally, spiritually for childbirth,
mhm,
especially if they're going unmedicated. Um, and I also support them in preparing for postpartum. So creating a postpartum plan, figuring out what's foods to actually heal the body. I do feel
mhm.
like we live in a diet culture, like snapback culture when it comes to
Yeah.
postpartum. Forget to truly nourished mom, like from from eating foods like bone broth and rices and herbs that like truly nourish and bring you back into the body. Up
Mhm.
until, like I said, I work with moms up into 2 years postpartum, so a lot of times they find that their hormones still are kind of little out of whack and still haven't found that balance. So I support them in helping with hormonal balancing and just finding work life mom balance in their life.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. So does your herbal the mixture that you do, does it help as well with the energy?
Yeah, so all the products that I make, I infuse with Reiki energy. Reiki is like a laying on of hands where I channel divine universal energy into the blend that I make. I believe in prayer and things like that, so I'll pray over the Yoni Seam or any of my products, especially after you do a consultation. I know exactly what we're making this for. I pray, do Reiki over it, so that it is not only healing physically but spiritually and emotionally as well.
That's awesome. And I also want to say to the audience, make sure you guys are taking this in, the tips that she's giving, because it helps for postpartum and women that are pregnant and after they have a baby, but also it could help for even long term, guys. So make sure you guys take these tips because I want to use it. So.
I mean, I feel like when it comes to womb wellness, I mean, even when we look at our monthly cycles, it is a cycle, you know what I mean? Like how you take care of yourself when you're on your period affects how your ovulation, which affects the luteal phase, which affects the follicular phase. So,
Mhm.
so when we take that concept of how like we live in cycles, how our body naturally moves in cycles and how every part affects one another, we can see that as in the microcosmic of our lives. So
Mhm.
on the macrocosmic of our lives, so like how we experience sex for the first time or our first period, and how we like take care of our bodies and our wombs during menstruation or in pre-pregnancy also affects postpartum, and then postpartum can even how we take care of ourselves postpartum affects our menopause.
Right.
So yeah, no matter where you are, I support people wherever they are in their womb cycle, through
Mhm.
like womb consultations mostly right now. um but you can like kind of like what you're saying, it doesn't matter where you're at, like you can be taking this in and like healing your body at any time, like I said, even for postpartum, like even though a lot of people consider postpartum just like the first 12 weeks, that 12 weeks is really important to like how you feel 2 years from now. And if depending on what happened in those 12 weeks, if you don't feel like you got the nourishment that you needed, it's not too late. You know what I mean? We can start later on, you know what I mean, and start working on it and bringing yourself back into yourself, and healing the body and healing the womb space.
That's awesome. And so one of the things I saw on your website, it says you do this to uplift the collective woman to heal the back 7 generations and the 7 generations forward. So what do you as far as the 7 generations forward?
So this is one of the cool things I think about having a womb. um, when you were in your mother's when your no sorry when your mom was in her mother's womb, you were in there as well. So when your
Hmm.
mom was like being like her body was being stitched together in the womb, her ovaries were being developed, you were inside her ovaries. So that means you were inside your grandmother. So everything that your grandmother felt, everything that she was going through, her birth experience, her trauma, and even her like healing, even her joy, you felt that, you experienced that. And it's like it was written into your code as your mother was building, as your mother's DNA was building out, yours was too with that generational healing, right?
Hmm.
And that generational DNA code. Um,
Right.
so I believe that one, when we uplift one woman, then it has a ripple effect against us all. But
Hmm.
specifically when it comes to generational healing, when mothers decide to like heal themselves, put themselves first, heal their bodies, you're literally changing the DNA code in your body. Even before you like if you're even before you have kids, while you have kids, or even if your children are like teenagers, you know what I mean? They're watching you and they're like learning from you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Even if we don't think that teenagers care what we have anything to say, they're watching you. You know what I mean? And so when they're like, wow, I see my mom like healing, I see my mom, like um working on herself, healing her body, changing her foods that she's eating,
Mhm.
working on her emotional health. Like you're giving her the toolkits to do that for herself. And then and then she takes the baton, she does the same thing, and it just, and we just get better generation after generation. And it even works backwards. I do notice that when a lot of the women come to see me, a lot of times they do come with like a lot of motherhood trauma or stuff like, oh, my mom didn't do this, she wasn't like this. But when and we want to change our moms, right? Like, oh, I wish she was like this. I wish she wasn't like that. But a lot of
Mhm.
times we just focus on ourselves and heal ourselves. You see the moms, our mothers, like checking, like noticing too, like, wow, I see my daughter's doing this amazing thing, and she might start to like change herself. And even if she does it, that's fine. But
Mhm.
it's very generational. It's still happening on an energetic level, when we start to heal. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's some great information. I've never thought about it that way as far as, of course our kids watch us, they watch everything we do. And that's the same with what you're saying, as far as the changing the generational, changing the DNA. As far as taking care of ourselves, it follows like our kids see what we do in a positive way and they take on that as well and pass it down, pass it down, pass it down. So I think that is amazing. I'm going to bring up your information. All right. So this is your website. You want to talk about what you offer on the website?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, on the website, pre-COVID, I was doing a lot of in-person things. Now, because of COVID, everything is virtual. So,
Mhm.
on the website, you'll see a page for my coaching. So, if you are coming on 35 weeks pregnant, or you're within that 2-year postpartum, I offer coaching for you. And then on the next page over, it will show you that you can start to book womb consultations with me. Um, in those consultations, it's about an hour consultation. I use tarot cards if that needs to be, but we'll pretty much just kind of unpack the healing that you need on a spiritual, physical, and emotional level. If I need to, I can send you products and things like that are specifically for you and your healing. And then it's not up there yet, but eventually I will have classes that I have on my Podia account. And of course, I can send that over to you guys individually if you're interested. And I am slowly getting classes out. The classes right now, I'm working on a intuitive eating class for pregnancy, postpartum, and labor. There will be like womb yoga classes on there, and so much more. So yeah.
Awesome. So I want you ladies to know that on her website, yonisteamdenver.com, make sure you, even if you're not with child, you got older kids, you can still take on some of these tips for yourself to build a healthy womb, a healthy body inside and out, and a healthy mind. Because everything we do, positive or negative, our kids look, our kids watch, and that 7 generations thing, that is real. It follows. It can follow unless somebody break that generational curse. So keep the positivity going, okay? In your parenting, your life, and like I've said before to you guys, we are not only their parents, we are their mentors, their coaches, their teachers in life. So we're teaching them how to be a good person, be a healthy being in the world, and do the right thing as they grow into adulthood. So. So you ladies watching and you guys watching later, make sure you visit mommysteamdenver.com. Her Instagram is at light as a feather 42. All right. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And like I said before, make sure you get some value out of this, which I know you did. Make sure you guys like and share this because there's always somebody else that needs to hear this information. And also make sure you don't want to miss the upcoming shows to follow. And so make sure you guys hit the notification bell and subscribe. So I want to thank everybody. And Celeste, I want to thank you for coming and sharing your information and your business. And also, congratulations because you're a mommy to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just there yesterday. I wish you blessings and wellness. You're going to do fabulous. So don't worry. Don't get stressed. You're going to have a healthy, strong baby. So for everybody that's watching, everybody to be watching after, make sure you tune in same time next week, 6 p.m. Pacific time, virtual, of course. And I will see you guys later. Bye.